These are going to be your Q&A test. This is Q&A test number one at 120 words a minute. Mr. Young, Mr. Murphy, Mrs. Murphy, Park Avenue, Murphy's, Mr. and Mrs. Murphy. Mr. Young, how long have you known Mr. Murphy?
I have known him since 1980,
How long have you known Mrs. Murphy?
since they were married in 1990.
Have you ever gone out with Mr. Murphy?
He used to come up to my apartment quite often.
Do you play cards with him occasionally?
Yes, sometimes.
Are you part of the circle of friends that he plays cards with?
Yes, sir.
How often do you play cards with him, Mr. Young?
I don't know exactly.
How many times a week would you say?
I would say once or twice a month.
Do you play at your home?
Sometimes.
Have you been subpoenaed to be here in court today?
Yes, sir.
Do you have your subpoena with you?
No, I left it at home
When were you subpoenaed?
last Saturday.
Mr. Young, had you ever been to the home of Mr. Murphy prior to June 19th
At his home where?
on Park Avenue?
No, sir.
Did Mr. Murphy ask you to make a delivery for him on June 19th?
Yes. He asked me to deliver a couch.
Where was the couch to be picked up?
I didn't pick it up. After he had the fight with his wife and she ordered him to leave, I just drove him over to his place of business.
Do you deliver the couch at a later date?
No, I did not.
Do you know who delivered the couch?
I don't know.
As a matter of fact, the couch was in his place of business. Is that right?
That is right.
What time did the Murphys ordinarily open up their place of business?
About 8:30.
Was Mrs. Murphy there every morning?
I don't know.
You said you used to see Mrs. Murphy there all the time.
I said I used to see Mr. Murphy quite often.
Did you ever go back to Park Avenue after June 19?
No,
So you were at Park Avenue on one occasion, is that right?
I was there several times.
This was prior to June 19,
Yes,
but you were never there after June 19.
I was not.
Do you know that Mr. and Mrs. Murphy entered into a separation agreement?
Yes, I know about it.
When you came to pick up Mr. Murphy on June 19, didn't you just stay in your truck while you were waiting for him?
No, I did not.
Wasn't Mr. Murphy waiting for you?
He was not. I didn't know I was supposed to pick him up.
Do you recall getting out of your truck and going on to the porch?
I do.
Was it an enclosed porch?
It was not an enclosed porch.
Was there any furniture on the porch?
I don't remember.
Let us understand each other. You have been in this house, is that correct?
I said I was never inside the house. I was just on the porch.
Was it an open or a closed porch?
I don't remember. I know it was a porch.
Was it an open porch?
I don't remember. I passed by the house many times, but I don't remember whether it was an open or a closed porch.
We are speaking about the porch of the house that you walked into when you overheard this conversation between Mr. and Mrs. Murphy. Was it an open porch or a closed porch?
I told you before that I don't remember whether it was an open or a closed porch.
Did you walk up any steps to get to this porch?
Yes, sir.
Do you recall opening the door? All right, this will be your Q&A test number 2 at 120 words a minute. We have Canal Street, Advil, PE, and Tori Lindsay. Do you know how many days from school you missed after that first accident?
No, I don't.
If the first accident occurred on a Wednesday, do you think you would have gone on that Friday?
Probably that Monday. That Monday.
What were you doing when you were at home?
Laying down.
You went to a doctor after that first accident, didn't you?
Yes.
Do you know who that doctor would have been?
No.
You don't remember the doctor's name?
No.
Do you remember where you went?
It was on Canal Street.
Let me back up a little bit. Did the emergency room doctor prescribe any type of medicine for you to take?
Not that I can remember.
Do you remember taking any medicine after that first accident?
No, I don't recall.
You don't recall taking aspirin or anything like that, Advil?
I don't remember. I don't know.
So you were having some pain in your knees,
Correct.
both knees,
Correct.
and your low back.
Yes.
What areas of your body did you complain about when you went to the doctor on Canal Street after the first accident?
My knees and my back.
Were you having any problem with headaches?
Not more than usual, no.
When you say not more than usual, had you had headaches prior to that first accident, the one on February 8th?
Yes.
How would you describe those headaches?
I have headaches from my eyes. I wear glasses for, reading.
Do you think you might have told that doctor that you had some headaches after that accident?
I don't remember.
Now, were you experiencing any pain in your shoulders or in your neck?
Not that I can remember, no.
Did that doctor tell you to stay away from some activities, anything related to lifting or maybe PE class?
I don't remember.
Do you remember that doctor on Canal Street prescribing any medication to you?
No.
What type of treatment did that doctor recommend for you?
I was going to therapy.
Did you go to therapy the first day that you went to that doctor?
I don't remember.
Do you remember how many times you would have gone to therapy between the first and the second accident?
I don't remember the exact time, but I didn't like the facilities, so I asked for another doctor.
Do you remember the type of therapy they did? Did they administer hot packs?
Hot packs on my back and my knees.
Massage. Did they do any massage for you?
No.
Anything else that you remember they did to you?
No.
You didn't like that place, so you wanted to go to another therapy place.
Yes.
Did you go to another therapy office before the second accident?
I don't recall if it was before or not.
Let's talk about the second one that you were in. And according to the accident report, that occurred on February 25th, 1995. Does that sound right to you?
Yes.
Was that a Saturday?
I don't know the exact day. No. I don't remember the day.
About what time of the day or the evening did it occur?
approximately
Yes.
7 or 8, I was on the way to dinner.
You were on a date.
Well, it was our winter formal.
Had you been to the formal already?
No, we were going to eat before we went to the formal.
Who were you going with?
Tori Lindsay.
Was he an acquaintance of yours? Had you gone out with him before?
Correct.
Did he own that car that he was driving?
I don't know.
Okay. This one, right?
100, the 100 number 1.
Oh, number 1.
Mhm.
Okay. So this is Q&A test number 1 at 100, and it has Dr. Miller. Were you working at the time of this accident?
No,
Before the accident, when had you last worked regularly?
about a year.
About a year before the accident?
Yes.
Well, what did he give you by way of medicine or treatment or therapy or whatever?
Well, he gave me a couple of things in the vein, I think, that day. He gave me a prescription. He said there wasn't too much that he could do until he could get the muscles to loosen up.
Do you know what prescriptions they were? Did you have them renewed?
Yes, I've been on them ever since.
Had you ever injured yourself before?
No,
No broken bones?
no,
No concussions as a child? Nothing.
nothing.
All right. Let me ask the questions this way. This day that you saw Dr. Miller, did you get worse than that, or was that the worst that it ever was at that point?
I even got worse after I saw him that day. I just seemed to keep getting tighter and tighter.
He didn't put you in the hospital at that point?
No,
Did he ever put you in the hospital?
no,
Did he ever send you in for therapy?
no. He's got them therapy machines there and stuff. And then he had another machine that he was using this stuff.
All right. He didn't put you in traction?
Yes.
He did put you in traction.
Well, the machine is like, in a sense, traction, but at home, I wasn't in traction.
But he didn't stretch you in any way with a machine?
Yes, he tried to pull my neck, but he didn't do that, I don't think, until at least it was a week and a half after the accident because I was so tight. I couldn't stand to have him touch me. Somebody look like they were going to touch me, I would just scream.
How often have you seen him, just roughly?
Oh, it started out a couple of times a week, and then it went to once a week, and then every 2 weeks if I get a little overactive. I just kind of have to watch what I do.
Those kind of things bring on an onset of pain.
I can run my vacuum and put myself in the bed for 2 days.
What about running the vacuum?
I guess it's just the actual pulling of the neck, the way a woman vacuums and stuff, I guess. The pulling of the neck, and my neck will get real tight across here, and I just can hardly move my head sometimes.
Have you taken drugs today?
No,
So you are not in any pain now?
just my headache, but I've learned to live with them. I can't eat aspirins all the time. I do get headaches, terrible headaches, and they last sometimes as long as 2 and 3 weeks at a time.
And you never had headaches before?
Never.
What does Dr. Miller say the All right, this will be Q&A test number 2 at 100 words a minute. Proper names are Mr. Murphy, Park Avenue, and Eric. Mr. Murphy, who paid the money for the purchase of the Park Avenue property?
The money came from the business.
Did Eric contribute any money for the purchase of this property?
No, sir.
Did your wife take any money from other sources and give it to you or put it into the property?
Not a penny.
Then all the money came from the business.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Murphy, when the taxes became due, who made those payments?
I did.
When a payment on the mortgage became due, who made the payment?
I made the payment.
Was it made out of the business account?
Yes, I wrote a check on the business account.
Did your wife ever borrow money from somebody to pay the taxes?
No, she never borrowed any money for taxes.
When repairs were made on the Park Avenue property, who paid for those repairs?
I did. I put in an extra bath and I paid $4,000 for it.
Did your wife pay any part of $4,000 out of her own money?
She did not.
Where did the money come from that you used to make the repairs?
Everything came from the business.
You heard your wife testify here that she paid for certain repairs to the roof and to the basement in order to put the property up for sale.
Yes, I heard that.
Did you visit the premises between the time she made that statement and today?
Yes, I did.
When did you visit the premises?
This morning.
What did you observe with respect to the repairs she testified she had made to the roof and the basement?
The basement is the same as when I left.
How about the roof?
I think she might have put on a new roof.
But nothing was done in the basement. Is that correct?
That's right. Nothing was done. I stopped over there this morning before I came to court to make sure.
Mr. Murphy, there came a time last year when you went to the hospital. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Do you recall the date on which you went to the hospital?
I don't recall the date, but it was the beginning of January, I think.
How long were you in the hospital?
3 weeks.
What did you go to the hospital for?
To have an operation on ulcers.
Was a part of your stomach removed as a result of the operation?
Yes, sir.
When you were released from the hospital, where did you go?
I went home.
How long did you stay at home?
I stayed home about 2 weeks, I think.
During the time that you were in the hospital and after you came out of the hospital, were you living with your wife?
Yes, if you can call it that.
Who was taking care of the business during that time?
Nobody. My wife couldn't do anything.
Do you have any employees?
No, sir.
When did you leave 35 Park?